English for second quarter, weeks 3 and 4. Our lesson for this week is about the use of adjectives, degrees of comparison, order in a sentence. Objectives. At the end of the lesson, you will be able to identify the correct degrees of comparison to use the degrees of comparison of adjectives correctly in forming a sentence. Let's have a brief review of our lesson last week. Context clues. Context clues are words in the sentence that help you figure out the meaning of a difficult word that you do not know. There are two ways of strategies to use context clues, such as definition and exemplification. Let's have number one. Context clues may give the definition of unfamiliar word. Example, my mom is a frontliner because she works on the front lines of the team for COVID-19 response. The unfamiliar word in the sentence is frontliner. The definition or the description clue or the meaning given in the sentence are works on the front lines. So here this one, works on the front lines. Usually there is sufficient explanation or explanations may be present within the sentence or in the following sentence. Okay, let's have number two. Context clues may give examples or exemplification of unfamiliar word. Example, the girl's favorite fairy tale is The Beauty and the Beast. Okay, for number two, sometimes when a reader finds a new word, an example might be found nearby that helps to explain its meaning. Like in number two, yeah, the unfamiliar word is fairy tale and the given example is The Beauty and the Beast. Direction. Read the sentences carefully. Write the meaning of the underlined word in the sentence. Choose your answer from the choices given in the box. The first one is done for you. So inside the box, we have the choices, one and only: celebration, saved, to fix, and brave. Number one, the mechanic needs to repair the car that broke down. So the unfamiliar word is the word repair. So when we want to repair something, it means that you need to fix something. There was jubilation in our neighborhood when we had a feast of the Santo Niño. So, when you had a feast, it means that you are what? Celebrating something. So, the answer is celebration. Next, the nurses and the doctors are courageous people because they gave their lives for others. So, when you say courageous, it means that you are brave. Number four, that was a unique song. I have never heard anything like that yet. So when you say unique, it means that it's one and only. Number five, we rescued a lost puppy that was trapped in the small hole. So when you rescued something, it means that you saved something or someone. Okay, let's understand and study the concept. Adjectives have three degrees of comparison. They are called the positive, comparative, and the superlative. Here are some rules to remember when using adjectives in degrees of comparison. So first one, we have the positive degree. It is said that it is used when there is no comparison. Use the base form of adjective when there is no comparison. Again, example, your pet cat runs fast. So, the positive adjective here or the positive degree is the word fast. And of course, it is in the base form of adjective. Next example, the clown is funny. So it means the clown is not being compared with anything else. There is no comparison that happened. So the adjective is in the base form, which is the word funny. Okay, so that is our example. Number 2, comparative degree or the comparative adjectives. They are used to compare differences between the two objects they modify. We have the larger, smaller, faster, and higher. We usually add er or more to the adjective. Two people, things, or places are being compared with one adjective or adverb to show that one has more quality or quantity of the adjective or adverb than the other. The adjective or adverb takes R or ER to its positive form and is said to be in comparative form. They are used in sentences where two nouns are compared in this pattern. Take note of the pattern. We have the noun as the subject, plus verb plus the comparative adjective plus than plus noun as the object of the sentence. Example, my pet dog runs faster than your pet cat. As you can see, the dog runs faster than the cat. So we have there the dog as the subject, runs as the verb, comparative adjective faster than, and cat as the noun or object of the sentence. The magician is funnier than the clown. Another example, a rose is more beautiful than a daisy. Another example, the earth is larger than the moon. So those are our examples. Number 3, superlative degree or the superlative adjective. It is used when you compare more than two things and to describe an object which is at the upper or lower limit of a quality. The tallest, the smallest, the fastest, and the highest. They are used in sentences where a subject is compared to a group of objects. Use est or most to the adjective, comparing one noun, person, thing, or place with several others of its kind to show that this particular noun has the highest degree of the quality or quantity of the adjective or adverb being used to compare. The adjective or adverb takes the superlative form ending with st or est, with a definite article the before it. So we have here the formula or the pattern. So we have noun as the subject plus verb plus the plus superlative adjective plus noun as the object. Okay, let us have some examples. The tiger runs fastest among the three animals. The elephant is the largest of all land animals. Trains are the most expensive transport in London. One-syllable adjective. Add er for the comparative and add est for the superlative. If the adjective has a consonant plus a single vowel plus a consonant spelling, the final consonant must be doubled before adding the ending. So we have here the adjective, comparative, and the superlative. So take note of this one. The adjective word is tall, and then we are going to add er, taller, and we add est, tallest. Another one, the word is fat. Now for the word fat, of course, as you can see, it ends with a consonant spelling, right? And we have the single vowel. And it has a consonant. So consonant, vowel, consonant. So what do we do to make it into a comparative? We don't just add er, but instead we doubled, okay? Doubled before adding the ending. So we doubled the letter T. Fatter, fattest. Big, bigger, we doubled. bigger, biggest. We doubled before adding the ending, which is the est for superlative and er for comparative. Sad, sadder, saddest. Okay, so we doubled and then add the er for comparative and add est for the superlative. Number 4. The comparatives and superlatives of multisyllable adjectives. So they are formed by adding more or less to comparative adjective and most or least to the positive form. Adjectives with 3 or more syllables form the comparative by putting more in front of the adjective and putting most in front of the superlative adjective. Take note of this one. So these words we have, expensive is a 3-syllable word or adjective, which is ex 1 pen 2 sieve 3, expensive. And then for comparative, we're going to add more expensive. And then for the superlative, we're going to use most expensive. So we put most in front of the superlative adjective. And another word is difficult. This is again a 3-syllable word. So comparative, more difficult, superlative, most difficult. So example, I am beautiful. My sister is more beautiful than me. So we use the comparative form of adjective. So we use more because beautiful is a 3-syllable word. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so that is a 3-syllable word. Next, my mom is the most beautiful in our family. So in superlative, that is superlative form. So we use most beautiful. Multi-syllable adjectives. So we have here the positive, comparative, and then the superlative form. For the positive form, the word is expensive. Comparative form, more or less expensive. Superlative form, we have the most and least expensive. And we have another word, difficult. More or less difficult. Most and least difficult. Let's have the 2 syllables of adjectives. Adjectives with 2 syllables can form the comparative either by adding er or by preceding the adjective with more. These adjectives form the superlative either by adding est or by preceding the adjective with most. In many cases, both forms are used, although one usage will be more common than the other. If you are not sure whether a 2-syllable adjective can take a comparative or superlative ending, play it safe and use more and most instead for adjectives ending in y. Change the y to an I before adding the ending. Two syllables. We have here the adjectives, comparative, and the superlative. Here we have a 2-syllable word, which is the happy. And we are going to change the y to I and add er to make it in a comparative form. So that is according to the rule. We change y to I and add er for comparative. And then we change the y to I and add est to make it superlative. So we have here simple, simpler, simplest, busy, busier, busiest, tilted, more tilted, most tilted, tangled, more tangled, most tangled. 3 or more syllables. Adjectives with 3 or more syllables form the comparative by putting more in front of the adjective and the superlative by putting most in front. Adjective. So we have here the adjective. This is a 3-syllable word. Adjective, comparative, superlative. So important. So we have 3. Expensive. We have 3. More important. As a comparative, we add more. Most important, we add most for superlative. So always take note of that. For comparative, which has an adjective that is more than 3 syllables or 3 or more syllables, we use more for comparative. Okay, more important, more expensive. And for superlative, we use most important, most expensive. Now when we use this, you don't need to add er. You don't say more important there. Okay, that is wrong. Okay, so let's have another examples for the positive and comparative and superlative form or degrees of adjectives. So we have here the 1 syllable word, which is hard, harder, hardest, big, bigger, biggest. And then we have a 2 syllable word for the adjective, which is heavy, heavier, heaviest. So we change the y to I and we add er, change y to I and we add est for the superlative. So here this one, we change the y, okay, and instead change the y to I and add est, change the y to I and add er, okay, for the 2 syllable word. Now we have another one, exciting. So this one is a three syllable, exciting. So 1 2 3. So we need to add more exciting, most exciting, wonderful, wonderful. So wonderful, 3 syllable again. So more wonderful, most wonderful. Another 3 syllable word or 3 syllable adjective. So we have important, more important, and most important. Okay, now let's proceed to irregular adjectives, positive, comparative, and superlative. For irregular adjectives, you need to familiarize yourself with the different irregular adjectives words, because you cannot just add er to make it comparative or est to make it superlative. For example, we have here good. You cannot just add er to for comparative and make it gooder, or est to make it goodest, because the correct form should be good, better, best, little, less, least, and bad, evil, ill, worse, worst, many, much, more, and most. So that is the correct way to give the comparative and superlative form of those irregular adjectives. Some adjectives are irregular. Example. Here is an example of a positive degree of adjective. So we have a dog is a good pet. Now let's have it in a comparative, comparing two things. A cat is better pet than a dog. A fish is the best pet in the house. Okay. Irregular comparatives and superlatives. These very common adjectives have completely irregular comparative and superlative forms. So we have here good, better, best, like what I said earlier, bad, worse, worst, little, less, least, and much, more, most, far, further, farther, farthest, farthest. Okay. This too, by the way, has different meaning, okay? Okay, so let's have some examples for the irregular adjective. So let's have number one. Yes, this one. Today is the worst day I've had in a long time. So she is comparing her day today with her days in a long time. So that's why it is in what? Superlative form, which is worst day she had in a long time. You play tennis better, okay, better than I do. So she is comparing herself with the other person in playing tennis. Okay, two nouns are being compared. This is the least expensive sweater in the store. So in the store, there's a lot of sweater, but the one that she's holding is the least expensive. That's why it is in superlative form. Next example. This sweater is less expensive, okay, less expensive than that one. So she's comparing the sweater she's holding and the sweater that she saw probably in that store. I ran far yesterday, but I ran even farther today. So this one, in the sentence, she is comparing her day today that she ran, okay, her day today that she ran, and yesterday that she ran. So she's comparing the two, okay? Okay, let's apply. So what you're going to do is you're going to complete the given chart below by writing the missing adjective. So each one has the missing adjective, whether it is a comparative, superlative, or a positive that is missing. Okay, so here example, we have the word smart for the positive, and then smarter for the comparative, and smartest for superlative. Now for number one, we have the missing adjective, but the base form is already given, which is thin. So for the comparative, the answer will be thinner, and the superlative will be thinnest. Number three. So the given adjective is in a comparative form, more dangerous. The missing adjective is the positive degree and the superlative degree. So the answer for the positive degree is dangerous, and the answer positive degree is dangerous, so we remove the word more. And then for the superlative degree or the superlative adjective, we put most dangerous. So this one is the same word, but here the given is most dangerous, okay, as an adjective for superlative. So the comparative, same, more dangerous, and for the positive, dangerous. Take note of this one. This is an irregular adjective, so bad. The comparative form of adjective is worse, and the superlative is worst. This one, the given is comparative, which is funnier. Missing one, the missing adjective is the positive form and the superlative form. So, the positive form of funnier is funny, and the superlative form of adjective is funniest. Okay? Now, let's proceed to let's analyze. Direction. Box the current adjective to use in the sentence. The first one has been done for you. My best friend lives farthest than me in Barangay San Valley. So the answer is farther already given. Number two, the first contestant gave the amazing, more amazing, most amazing performance of all. So the correct answer is most amazing. Number three, our Miss Parañaque has the smoothest skin ever. So the correct answer is smoothest. Baguio City has good, better, best weather. Okay? So the best is the correct answer. Number five, that trip is the long, that trip is longest trip we ever had. Okay? So, what's the correct answer? Longest. Next, number 6. Mrs. Thomas is graceful, more graceful, most graceful dancer than Mrs. Reyes. So, the correct answer is more graceful because Mrs. Thomas is being compared with Mrs. Reyes. So, two nouns are being compared. We have honest, more honest, most honest pupils in our school. Okay? So, try to observe. Have you seen any comparison? None. So the answer is we have honest pupils in our school. Number 8. The bag I saw in Baclaran was cheap, cheaper, cheapest than the shoes I bought. So there's two noun being compared, so the answer is cheaper. Between Tony and Bing, Bing is the talkative, more talkative, most talkative of the two. So the answer, of course, obviously more talkative because there's only two being compared. Number 10. The story we read was interesting, more interesting, and most interesting. So the correct answer is what? The story we read was interesting because there is no comparison again. Filipino workers are skillful, more skillful, most skillful. So no comparison again. So we have Filipino Filip, Philippine Filipino workers are skillful. Let's try evaluation. Direction. Write 3 sentences using the 3 degrees of comparison. Compare the names and adjectives given below. See given example. So if for example we have here for the nouns, we have Ricky, Eric, and Derek. And then of course for the positive form or the positive degree of adjective, we have the word handsome. So handsome is an adjective word. Letter A. So here, for letter A, it should be in a positive form or the positive degree, or we have the positive adjective. So they are all the same. Positive degree, positive adjective, it's all the same. So Ricky is handsome. Of course, no comparison happened. Alright? So Ricky is handsome. Letter B. You need now to compare two nouns. So, and of course, we need to use than. Now, please take note if the word is a 2-syllable or a 3-syllable, so you know if you are going to add er or more, okay? So here this one. Eric is more handsome than Ricky. Letter C. Derek is the most handsome among the 3 brothers, okay? So Derek being compared with all his brothers, that's why we use most handsome. So you're going to answer the rest, of course. I provided the link. I posted it, and also I already gave you the link. So just try to click the link and then you can answer the let's try evaluation that will be for weeks 3 and 4. So that's all for this week. Have a nice day, everyone.